Hi there. I started learning to play the guitar when I was about 11 or 12, but I never got really good at it, which is kind of funny because I love music, I love the guitar. So, how do you get really good at something you love? Come on, let's find out. It's music time. Speaking of being really good at the guitar, I have a friend I'd like to introduce you to. So here he is.
Hi, I'm Patrick Sweeney, and you're watching Our Vinyl TV. This is a song called Them Shoes. My mind is filled with ghosts, and more than most of all, my love's gone wrong. My mind is focused on these past and gone, where I have no control.
I am here with my good friend Patrick Sweeney.
Hello, Mrs. Eyestone. Glad to see you.
Well, it's very, very good to see you too, Patrick. And thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story with us and your experience as a musician. I can't wait to hear. Yeah. So I know you live in Nashville now, but
Yes.
You haven't always lived there. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Ohio, in Northeast Ohio, a town called Massillon, which is about an hour south of Cleveland, where all the pro sports teams are.
Uh-huh.
So right about 50 miles due south of there.
Okay.
Right. Very, very Midwestern.
Okay, so this is where you went to school and all of that. And when you were in elementary school, did they have a music program like as a regular class?
Oh, absolutely, yes. We had it was at least weekly. I remember learning about it was the participation. And I was always a very shy kid.
Oh, really?
And that
surprises me.
I like that. No one believes that, but I was really, really anxious about working with other people and doing these things I would raise my hand in class and that's one thing, but I wouldn't, I was always afraid of getting in trouble or things like that. I was a very shy kid. And but music class, because of that participation, and I realized how things could work together. You could just do so much more by working together. Mm-hmm. That it really helped me get over a lot of shyness and anxiety. Made me very nervous. And that I was just like, that's a really, and it was nearly immediate too. I was just like, oh, this is cool, and getting to try instruments and sing, and I liked singing. Mm-hmm. But obviously, it's singing. I wasn't good at it. At first.
Oh, good.
But that was the nice thing is like no one's good at it at anything on the first try.
Right.
So
right.
Yeah, and it was also something that I noticed that I could, if I did it longer, I got better at. Mm-hmm. Which wasn't just like trying to remember my letters or numbers. This was something I could see that I could do, and I'm like, oh, I'm good at this.
Well, good.
That kind of thing. And that was when I remember that a lot from music class and just trying instruments and stuff. And
I bet it made class a whole lot more fun by actually doing it than just sitting back going, okay, when's this going to be over?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it was also, too, it's kind of interesting to see, like, that the other kids kind of did feel like me, too. And that was the one thing. They were, I didn't know. These kids I thought were so cool. And that they were also shy about participating and working together, and that made me feel really nice because I was just like, okay, I'm not a weirdo. This is just weird. It's always weird. The first time you try something and but it's, as you work together, you get better at it. And it was just so exciting for me. I wanted to do it more.
Well, so
Here
how
we are.
old? Yeah, and there you are. And how old
Yeah.
were you when you picked up that guitar and started figuring out how to play it?
Well, my father, and he plays guitar and banjo, and he played this thing called the auto harp too. Which,
Oh, yeah.
as far as me trying out on Dad's guitar, probably about 10 or 11, probably closer to then. And then
Well, your hands were probably finally getting big enough.
that's exactly it too. Like, by the time my older brother didn't like it, because he's a very tall person, and he's like 6'6".
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. He's
Almost as tall as Mark.
Right. And he really, really loved sports, and that was right then he got more interested in sports, and that was something he worked at and got better at. So he didn't have any interest in that, and that was something. I was like, as soon as I was big enough to hold it and for it, and I was just absolutely in love with it.
Did it come easily for you, or did you have to work at it?
Oh no! I was terrible. Made my fingers hurt. My older brother made fun of the way I sang. Oh, it made me so upset. And because it was terrible. It's a little, anything you do the first time, it's always bad. Try making a hamburger for the first time. It's not going to be good.
But why did you stick? But then why did you stick with it? What kept you going?
Because I heard other people I knew, like my dad, or things I saw on record, and realized those are just people. And they can do it. And if they can do it, I'm a person, so I know I can do it. So, and a nice thing was having, teachers, and my father was a teacher as well.
Oh,
he
really?
didn't teach music, but he just knew to let me, work at it and try it. And he saw me doing something that was not helping myself. He'd say, "Well, try this," and there and.
That's
but he
really,
also
you're really
let me
lucky.
listen. The luckiest. But he also let me listen to a lot of music too. That I was really, really interested in.
So, what kind of music was that? What music were you trying to play?
Well, as a little kid, I'm just listening to whatever my mom and dad were listening to. So, but a lot of that was like folk music and things like that, and like bluegrass music and country music, and that's it's really interesting music. And that was another thing that my father would do. He would take me to places because he liked to play music, and he liked getting together with people and playing music. And he was never a professional or anything like that. He never did it for money. This was just for his own enjoyment and to hang out with his friends, which is my favorite part about music. Because
Isn't it the most satisfying?
You don't have to be on stage. You don't have to do anything. I come into this room that we're in every single day, and the first thing I do is pick this up and I sit right here. There's not always a gold curtain behind me. I just do that to make it special for you guys.
Well, I'm loving that gold curtain.
Isn't it nice?
Oh, yeah.
Really, that was the best $30 I've ever spent. But I come in here and I'm able to play a little music that no one hears. But it's just that. It just gives me it really helps me. It calms me. It makes that. And then it just makes my life happier.
Well,
and then when you play with other people, you double that.
Oh, absolutely.
And you add another person that, you triple that. And
Yep.
It's not like addition. It's like multiplication. And that's just between you. And then you add some people who want to listen, and it's in. So that's the real part about it, is like what really got me to really be interested in music is that I was able to practice and work at something, and then I immediately sounded good. Because when you're little, and your hands aren't, they just aren't used to pressing down wires and things. But when you finally make that chord where it just, instead of, but I can just, and it's instant. It's right now. And I know I did the right thing, and it's what I'm supposed to do.
Isn't
man,
that
was
something?
that was the best feeling in the world.
Well, I have more questions I want to ask you, but
Yeah,
please. While we're doing it, play something. If you sit down when you come home and you sit down and you're playing something on your own, what would that be? What would that sound like?
Well, I like to play a style of music called the blues, that I like a lot, and it's really fun. And so I just thought I would just play some guitar blues, a thing like that, and it's
that does my heart so much good. I just love it.
Thank you.
So, how many miles is it to Wibbleton, or is it Wobbleton? I know who can tell us. Miss Kramer in rhythm class.
Hey, greetings everybody. So Miss Kramer here, and I am doing a rhythm class for this week. We're going to do this rhyme that's called Wibbleton to Wobbleton. And Wibbleton to Wobbleton happens to be 15 miles. So if you imagine that on a map, if I'm going from Wibbleton to Wobbleton, it's going to be 15 miles, and that's what this rhyme is based around. Okay, so let's give it a go. So it goes like this. From Wibbleton to Wobbleton is 15 miles. From Wobbleton to Wibbleton is 15 miles. From Wibbleton to Wobbleton, from Wobbleton to Wibbleton, from Wibbleton to Wobbleton is 15 miles. Ha! Kind of silly, huh? I love it though, and I love saying Wibbleton and Wobbleton. Okay, so what we're going to do with this is that first off, you need to learn the rhyme. So I want you to go back and you're going to practice it with me, with what I just did. So kind of practice it over and over again until you have it pretty good. Because then we're going to start doing some rhythms to it. We're going to clap with it. And we're also going to start taking some words out. So we're going to get a little tricky here. Okay, so go back and check it out, learn it, and then come back. All right, we're back. So this time through, we're going to clap on all of the syllables. So we're clapping the rhythm of the words, and we're going to keep all the words in. All right, let's give it a go. 1, 2, here we go. From Wibbleton to Wobbleton is 15 miles. From Wobbleton to Wibbleton is 15 miles. From Wibbleton to Wobbleton, from Wobbleton to Wibbleton, from Wibbleton to Wobbleton is 15 miles. Woo, that's a lot of clapping. So that's clapping all of the syllables of all of the words. So that's the rhythm of the words, right? Good. All right, let's make it a little trickier. We're going to leave out the word from. So we have the word from at the beginning of each of those lines. Now we're not going to say it, and we're not going to clap it. We'll see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wibbleton to Wobbleton is 15 miles. Wobbleton to Wibbleton is 15 miles. Wibbleton to Wobbleton, Wobbleton to Wibbleton, Wibbleton to Wobbleton is 15 miles. How'd you do? All right, that was leaving out the word from. Now we go from Wobbleton to, that word to. Let's leave out the word to. I bet that's a sight word for some of you, right? So now we're going to leave out from, and we're going to leave out to. We're not going to say it. We're not going to clap it. Right, let's see how I do. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wibbleton, Wobbleton is 15 miles. Wobbleton, Wibbleton is 15 miles. Wibbleton, Wobbleton, Wobbleton, Wibbleton. Wibbleton, Wobbleton is 15 miles. Hey, did you catch my mistake? The very first time I also did not clap on is. I missed it. However, I must have known what was coming because now we're also going to leave out the word is. So it goes from Wibbleton to Wobbleton is 15 miles. So we're going to leave out from, to, and is. And we're just going to be doing the Wibbleton, Wobbleton, and 15 miles part. Whew! All right, let's see how we do. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Wibbleton, Wobbleton, 15 miles. Wobbleton, Wibbleton, 15 miles. Wibbleton, Wobbleton, Wobbleton, Wibbleton, Wibbleton, Wobbleton, 15 miles. Woo! How'd you do? Cool. Okay, now, if you kind of went, oh, that was way too fast for me to do, no worries, because, again, you've heard this all year, we're on video, so you can go back and practice those, right? Now, our song has 5 lines to it. From Wibbleton to Wobbleton is 15 miles, right? That's 1. From Wobbleton to Wibbleton is 15 miles, that's 2. Wibbleton to Wobbleton, if we're saying the whole thing, from Wibbleton to Wobbleton. Wobbleton to Wibbleton. From Wibbleton to Wobbleton is 15 miles. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do different things on every other line. So let's do clapping, and let's do patting on our shoulders. So we're going to clap the first line, and then we're going to pat our shoulders on the second line. And then we're going to clap again and pat again, and we're going to end with a clap. Holy smokes, let's see what happens. We're still leaving out the from, to, and is. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wibbleton, Wobbleton, 15 miles. Wobbleton, Wibbleton, 15 miles. Wibbleton, Wobbleton, Wobbleton, Wibbleton. Wibbleton, Wobbleton, 15 miles. Okay, now let's don't say the words and let's just do the rhythms. So you have to think the words in your head and you're going to clap them, but we're not going to have them come out of our mouths. Think we can do it? Let's just do that time that way. Let's just do it with clapping only, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I already messed up. Darn it, I did the 2. Okay, let me try again. Ready, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got it. All right. Oh, I was mouthing it though. I wonder if I can do it without mouthing it and then adding the padding back in. Let's see if I can do it that way. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I got it. Excellent. So there you have it. Wibbleton, Wobbleton. Kind of a silly rhyme, and now we also know that from Wibbleton to Wobbleton is how much? You got it. 15 miles. Holy smokes, that's like going from Port Angeles to Sequim. Cool. I wonder if we could do it with that. Okay, so your challenge is I used clapping and patting. I want you to see if you can come up with different things that you could do with the rhythm that are different sounds that you could make. And what kind of variations could you do with that rhyme? You might even experiment with, I don't know, taking out more words. There's all sorts of things you can do. We would love to see what you come up with, so share it with us in your Seesaw class. Very cool. Hey, until next time, see you later.
Now, where is that chord I was looking for? You know, Mr. Reynolds was just talking about chords, but I'm pretty sure it was not this kind of chord he was talking about. So let's go find out. What chords is he talking about?
For the next few weeks, we're going to be learning about one of the basic building blocks of music, the chord. A chord is when two or more notes are played or sung together. You can play a chord by yourself on a piano, or a guitar, or a ukulele. You can also make chords together with other people singing or playing other musical instruments. Whenever two or more notes happen at the same time, that's a chord. Today, I'm going to be using a piano to help us understand more about chords. The piano is a musical instrument that uses keys and hammers to make musical sound. Let's take a look at the keyboard. If you look carefully, you can see a repeated pattern of black and white keys. This pattern shows us a group of 8 notes. Let's take a closer look at these notes and number them from 1 to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is called an octave. Why is it called an octave? An octopus has 8 legs and an octagon has 8 sides, and therefore an octave has 8 notes. Let's count the notes together, shall we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good job. Remember, a chord is when 2 or more notes are played at the same time. There are many different types of chords, but today we're just going to look at the 4 most common chords. These are the major chord, the minor chord, the dominant 7th chord, and the diminished 7th chord. The first chord we're going to look at is the major chord. Major chord! The major chord sounds like this. Major chords use the notes 1, 3, and 5. You know you're hearing a major chord because they tend to sound happy. Now show me a happy face while we listen to the major chord. Good. Let's see if you can hear a difference when I play a minor chord. A minor chord also uses the notes 1, 3, and 5. But note 3 is moved down a half step. The half step is the smallest distance between notes in most instruments. That just means that my finger moves from the white key to the black key just to the left of it for a minor chord. Now let's listen to the difference. Happy major, sad minor. Happy major, sad minor. I think you get it. Now the dominant 7th chord. This chord is just like the major chord with a 1, 3, and 5, but it has another note added on top. Can you guess what note is added to a dominant 7th chord? It's note number 7. That's right. You can tell that you're listening to a dominant 7th chord because it sounds jazzy, like this. Dominant 7th chords are used a lot in jazz and blues music. So let's hear our happy major, sad minor, and jazzy dominant 7th chords. Here we go. Happy major, sad minor, jazzy dominant 7th. Now the final chord we're going to learn today is the diminished 7th chord. Now let's just listen to this chord. The diminished 7th chord is what I like to call the scary chord. Now listen again. Let's review. We have the happy major, the sad minor, the jazzy dominant 7th, and the scary diminished chord. Let's recap what we've learned this week. Can you remember the 4 chords that we learned today? First there was the happy major, and then there was the, sad minor. And then there was the jazzy dominant 7th chord, and finally the scary diminished 7th chord. Ooh. Also, we learned that an octave has how many notes? How many notes are in an octave? That's right, there are 8 notes in an octave. Well, come back next week and we'll talk about how scales and chords fit together to make entire songs. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Seems a lot of you had fun making shakers with Mr. Cobb. So let's see what he has in mind for us this week in voice class.
Hey everyone, Mr. Cobb here with this week's episode of Voice Class. I wanted to begin by showing you some of the video responses we received from last week's feature about instrument making. We got lots of videos showing us how you made and played different kinds of shakers. Let's take a look. While we weren't able to include everyone's response, you can see how popular the project was by how many responses we were able to include. It looks like lots of you had fun with this project. You can still send in video clips of you playing your shakers, but we may not be able to include them in future episodes. Thanks to everyone who already sent one in. For our voice class song this week, I thought we'd sing a song that uses those shakers we made. Don't worry if you didn't make one or you can't find yours, you can still clap and sing along with this song. You may be able to find something around the house to use as a shaker, so you can pause the video now while you go and look if you need to. Our song today is called Eeny, Meeny, Beanie, Beanie, and it was written by Teresa Jennings in 2000 when Beanie Babies were a popular toy. I still have my Beanie Baby duck. Well, I've been using this song in Hamilton since it came out right after we make egg shakers, so I thought it would be a perfect song to share with all of you. To help us through this song, we first have to be able to clap the rhythm pattern sh-ta, while we sing. So this card may look upside down, but our pattern today starts with a rest. So this card still works reading from left to right. Notice in our 4-beat pattern, the tas come on beats 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll be clapping on 2 and 4. If you have a shaker, you can clap like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you didn't make a shaker, or you can't find a bottle of vitamins or something else to shake, you can clap your hands without a shaker, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a place in the song where we stop clapping and we listen to directions of where to shake our shaker. Shake it up high, shake it down low, things like that. There's also a freestyle section which I will call out, and it's where you can shake any way you want to shake or clap. And then we'll return to the pattern of sh-ta to end the song. You ready? Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 2.
Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. Shake a beanie by the toe. Shake it good and don't let go. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. Eeny, meeny, beanie, beanie. Shake it. Shake it.
Here we go.
Shake it up high. Shake it down low. Shake it by your chin. Shake it by your toe. Shake it to the left. Shake it to the right. Eeny, meeny, beanie, beanie. Shake it all right.
Freestyle any way you want. All right, back to our pattern.
Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. Shake a beanie by the toe. Shake it good and don't let go. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. Eeny, meeny, beanie, beanie. Shake it. Shake it.
Repeat that part.
Eeny, meeny, beanie, beanie. Shake it. Shake it.
One more time.
Eeny, meeny, beanie, beanie. Shake it. Shake it.
Yeah! Oh yeah, freestyle. Bring it on home. Woo! Well, that's going to do it for voice class today. I sure had fun with this song, and I hope you did too. Feel free to watch it again and maybe teach it to mom or dad. We'll see you next week.
Well, that's it for this week. But we'll see you back again when it's music time.